Hey, this is Sherry, and today we're going to do I call it CSR class. Stands for core, CSR stands for core, stretch, and relaxation. So if you have a strap, a yoga strap, or even just a man's tie, you can use for some of the exercises. If you have a block, that's a nice little tool to have also, and I'll explain how to use that as we get into it. So everybody's ready. You're going to work a little bit on posture. I'll give a lot of cues to get you into your posture. It's a lot of mental parts in the class also, so just listen to what I say and always stay at your level and honor your body and do what feels just right for you. Don't force it. You might want to put some nice light music on, some yoga music, something that you enjoy. Unfortunately, I don't have any music today, so you go right ahead and put on what you would like for that. And get on your mat and just sit up nice and tall. You'll find your sits bones right in the center of your rear end. Just sit nice and tall. You want to make your ears in line with your shoulders and keep your shoulders in line with your hips. And we're just going to start with some nice neck exercises. So just take your gaze over to the right. As you sit tall, notice what you're feeling. Your chest should be nice and open. Your spine should remain lifted. And then bring your gaze to center and just take your gaze out and over to the left side. And back to neutral. One more to each side. So we're going to go right and center and left. And back to center, just letting your right ear drop over towards your right shoulder. It's very easy to let your whole body go with that, so try to refrain from that, staying open across the collarbones. Back to center and then over to the left. And more than likely, you'll find a little difference in the tightness on one side from the next. And back to center and over to the right. And center and then to the left. And back to center. We're going to take a nice big breath, bringing the arms overhead. As you exhale, you're just going to come forward, and you might have to readjust a little bit. Usually I turn sideways so you can get a better view here on this. So you'll be here. Don't let your head do this. Keep your head in line. And once you feel your shoulders wanting to do this, then come back up to where you can hold nice and open across your collarbones. I'll be all over the place here. And on your in-breath, you're just going to sit tall, take an exhale, and rotate just gently around to the left side, staying nice and lifted. This is where you can use your block. You can place that behind you and put your left hand on the block. That's going to enable you to sit just a little bit taller to fine-tune that twist through the spine. And we're going to gaze over the left shoulder. And notice your flow of breath in and out, nice and steady. Stay on your rotation and just bring your gaze over your right shoulder towards the front of the room. And next breath, you'll come back to neutral and just hinge forward again. Maybe noticing a little stretch down across your hips and through your low spine here. Use your in-breath to sit tall and exhale and rotate around to that right side. Again, you can use that block to sit tall. Or if you're okay with the floor, just go there. Gaze over the right shoulder. And just bring your gaze back to the front. And we'll bring ourselves back to neutral. Go ahead and open your legs out, probably about the width of your mat. You probably have your mat this way. And just sit nice and tall. We're going to warm up the belly a little bit. So you'll take your in-breath here. As you exhale, you're going to rotate and flex slightly forward. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, other side. Just go ahead and find a move that feels just nice and natural to you. Not forcing it. Notice your shoulders. They usually always want to bully in and take over. And just being conscious of that throughout your class today. And we're going to take one more to each side. It's not a race, so just take your time. Go ahead and complete your 2 expressions. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. When you do finish, you'll just bring it, arms back down and bring those legs back into neutral. Place your right hand on the floor. Bring your left arm up and just give yourself a little lateral movement over to that right side. We're going to slide the hand out a little bit. Again, this is a great place for the block. Just think of the block as bringing the floor up closer to you. So you could be here or you could be here. Take your in-breath. As you exhale, you're just going to rotate your left fingertips down through your arm. Inhale and open. Exhale through. You could be up on your block, getting it a little bit more open through your chest. 2 more sets. Get that nice stretch. And then that nice work for the obliques. And we'll bring it all the way back up. Sit yourself tall, wrap around your right wrist, lift your rib cage, and just give yourself that little counter over to the other side. And back to center. Let's do a little stretch forward, opening through the chest, drawing the shoulders down, and just feel that stretch on the underside of your legs and probably down in your low spine a little bit. Alrighty, coming back up, maybe put your block over here. Reach your left hand out, right arm up, come over. You can extend it out a little deeper, use your block, smile. Take your breath in and exhale. Start your movement down and through, inhaling and opening, not losing your long spine, not losing the position of your shoulders. You have 3 more. And people have a habit of always looking up at the camera. Try to refrain from that. Keep your head in neutral. And as you make it back out of this one, go ahead and sit tall and just hinge forward again. Settling into that. Maybe you can get to your toes, maybe not. Your next in-breath, you're just going to tuck your chin and let your spine round. And then exhale. Go ahead and stack up 1 vertebra at a time. So you're seated nice and tall again. Let's counter some of that by bringing our hands behind. You can just bring your feet to the mat, probably make you a little more comfortable. You're going to open your chest, keep your neck strong. If it feels in your practice to drop down onto your elbows, feel free to do that and push your chest a little higher towards the ceiling. Find your breath. It's going to increase across the collarbone there. And 1 more breath. Go ahead and release yourself back to a seated position. I'm just going to turn sideways for the next set. So you can stay facing the camera or you can turn with me. Your feet are comfortable from you. You want to sit nice and tall. So if you have trouble sitting tall, you might put a pillow or blanket underneath your rear end. So take your breath in. As you exhale, you're going to pelvic tilt, and your back is just going to start to roll towards the mat. We'll call it a C curve, kind of like the letter C here, and just extend your arms. So if you're down this far and you're having trouble breathing and your low back is not feeling comfortable and not liking you, and you're wondering how long I'm going to keep you here, then you probably should come up a little bit, okay? So where you are comfortable, because I don't even know how long we're going to stay here, okay? Just joking, okay. Take your breath in. As you exhale, try to round up, get the shoulders over the hips, and then sit yourself up tall. So let's see if we can't take that movement and just be nice and smooth with it. So we'll inhale here, exhale, roll yourself down, take your breath in, and then exhale. Bring yourself up, articulate, and sit up nice and tall. We have 3 more sets. You can go at your own pace. We're only moving on the out breath, so breathe in. Exhale, roll up. 2 more sets. And yes, if you feel like this is work and it's hard, you are correct. I know I make it look really easy, right? Take your breath in. Exhale, roll all the way up. And another thing to know if you're doing it correctly, if you feel like when you come into this stretch, you're like, oh my goodness, this feels so good, then you had it. You were doing a great job. Maybe you can tilt your pelvis and your pubic bone a little bit more here in your stretch, and really target down through the sacrum a little bit in the tailbone area. It's a great stretch. Relax your shoulders. I know they're talking to you. And take your breath in here. Use your out breath to stack yourself back up nice and tall. All right, so we're going to do 2 more things here. We're going to work the obliques. So it's the same concept of what we just did where we rolled straight back, finding that where it's comfortable and you're not all tensed up in your shoulder, but we're going to rotate first. So first thing we're going to do is sit tall, rotate around to the left, and your arms are just here. So take your breath in, exhale, pelvic tilt, roll down, find again that comfort where you're not all tensed up, everything is just open, but this is scooped away, you feel it working. Take your breath in, exhale, roll yourself back up tall, breath in, exhale, roll straight back, breathe in, exhale, roll yourself back up nice and tall. You have 2 more sets on this side. Your breath is definitely your friend, it's going to help you to find those muscles deep in your body. Last one. And again, I'm not a bad person, so I'm going to give you that little stretch in between. So go ahead and just round into that, because honestly, this is my favorite part, is the stretching. So take your breath in, exhale, stack yourself back up nice and tall again. Arms out, take that rotation over that right side, same drill here. So take your breath in, exhale, roll back, breath in, exhale tightly and roll back up. Breath in, really let that breath out, find that belly, breath in, exhale, roll yourself back up. 2 more times. Last one. Breath in and exhale, roll all the way back up. Guess what? You get to stretch again. Take it forward. Ugh. Take a breath in here. Exhale, stack yourself all the way back up nice and tall. So make sure you have room on your mat for your whole body to roll down onto it, because we're going to roll down. And make sure your strap is nice and near you. So take your breath in, exhale, pelvic tilt. You're going to roll down. See if you can release that 1 vertebra at a time. Move my mic out of the way. To get your body down there. Extend your arms overhead. Draw your shoulders down. Let your chest open. And don't worry about what your legs are doing. Don't force them to go in any position. Mine tend to want to roll outward, and that's okay. Just let them go where they want. And just hold here and let your body become one with your mat. Find your breath. And let's take 2 more just like this. So this is where the S part of the class comes in, stretch. All right, we're going to bring ourselves around. You're going to take your strap, put your right foot on the floor, take the strap around your left leg. I want you to hold each side of the strap in one hand. So each hand has a part of the strap. Find a comfortable position for it on your foot. Take your leg out where it's completely straight but not locked. So you don't want it locked like this. You want to give just that little bend in there. Then you're going to start to move the leg in. You might have to choke up a little bit more, but you want to keep your leg basically straight. Everybody cheats and does this, so don't cheat. Keep your leg straight. And if you can't bring it in as far as I do, maybe you're right here, but at least it's straight. And you might start getting a little shaking like this. And that's just normal. If it's shaking crazily, if that's a word, bring it here. And just take it where it's comfortable, but you do start to feel it stretch. And then just work with that and bring it in to find your comfort. Relax your upper body. The back of your hip should be pressing into the floor. And you should feel length from your glute, from the top of your rear end all the way down to your ankle. But not a bunch of tension through here. And we have 2 more breaths. Just learning how to stretch is a big thing. And I feel like you should stretch every day if you have the time. Find a little routine that works for you. All right, so we're going to just let the leg back out a little bit. You can hold the strap in one hand if that's most comfortable for you. From your hip area, you're going to turn your whole leg. So don't just turn your ankle. Make sure your whole leg right at that hip joint rotates out. And then you're going to find where that stretch is comfortable. So again, you might be out here with that rotation and going, oh my gosh, I feel that. Then you're going to stay right here. If you can bring it in a little bit more, I can't bring it in as far on that rotation as in the neutral, but that's okay. I can feel that stretch a little differently, same area of the leg, and upper body's relaxed, and you're just breathing. Relax your toes also. I always find myself tensing through my toes, so let those relax also. And just hold here for 2 more breaths. Really breathe that breath out, and it lets you stretch just a little bit more. So now back to neutral. We're going to go the other way with the hip. So make that rotation internally from the hip first, and then start to bring the leg in. Relax your toes. And I might add, if you've had a hip replacement, they've probably told you not to do an internal rotation, so you would not be doing this. You can keep your legs straight and just get a bonus down the center. And you have 2 more breaths here. And we're gently going to relax out of that. Take the strap off. Take this ankle and put it just above your knee. You can put your left hand right on the inside of the knee. You're going to gently push your knee away from you. And then I like to take my right arm and let it rest on the floor, relaxing the shoulder. Just gives you a nice diagonal stretch across the front of your body. Breathe. There's always that, always breathing. All right, we're going to lift the right foot off the floor. You're going to keep your legs in this position. Reach behind it and gently bring it in. So if you're joining me today in a chair, you would just be sitting nice and tall and then hinging forward over top of your legs, and you'll get that same stretch, probably feeling it right here through this outer thigh. We're not tensed up like this. Just let the stretch happen. And we're going to multitask today. So you're going to mindfully rotate your right ankle as you hold for your stretch here. And we're just going to reverse that direction. So think about that movement in the lower part of your leg. It's all good, trust me. Famous last words, right? All right, let's bring our knees to our chest and bring it in. Just roll your hips around in a little circle. And then you can go the other way. It's almost like giving yourself a little back massage. And last time I checked, we had 2 legs, so let's do that other one. So take that strap around your right foot, separate it, bring your arms alongside your body, gently bring it in. Again, you might start here. You might stop here. You might get here and go, whoo, feeling that stretch. Bring it in where it's comfortable. Relax your toes, relax your upper body, and focus on your breath and your length in the back of your leg. Some people love the strap, some people hate the strap. I can tell you, if you're very tight and you have a very limited range of flexibility, you're probably the one that does not like the strap. 2 more breaths. And each time you exhale, Maybe you feel that stretch go just a little bit more. And let's relax it out. You can hold the strap in one hand if that's more comfortable. Make that rotation from the hip and then gently bring the leg in. Maybe you open your one arm out to the side. Relax your toes, your shoulders. Two more breaths. And relax it back out. Now go with your internal rotation. Gently bring it in. I'll open my other arm this time. Relax through here and just enjoy. The good thing with this will be you can pull it up probably anytime you want. You're feeling a little tight in the back of your legs, or maybe you went for a very nice long walk. Do these stretches. It'll do wonders for you. And let's just take one more. And you can remove the strap. You'll place your ankle above your knee. Place your hand on the inside. I like to take my left arm and just extend it overhead and gently press that knee out and away. It's a great hip opener. Those hips do a lot of work when you go for walks. So treat them right. Give them their stretches. And you're going to lift that left foot off the floor, wrap behind it, gently bring in for your stretch, relaxing toes, neck, shoulders, and mindfully rotate your left ankle. And you can reverse the direction. And releasing out of that, just bringing knees to chest once again. Let's point and flex the toes. And I always like to say mindfully, because I've noticed through the years, if I say point and flex the toes, people just go like this. And it's like, what are you getting out of that? Let's point, let's flex. There's actual muscles that make that movement. And one more. All right, so that was a little stretch for you. Let's get back to work on the core a little bit. So here, there's lots of options, so I'll kind of run through them all, and you choose where you think you should be today. So we're going to bring our feet up they're going to be right at hip distance, and the knees are just going to bend. So it's kind of like the fronts of your lower legs are like a table. We'll just take our arms out to the side. We have our nice long spine and open chest. So the rule is, if you feel any discomfort in your low back, you need to make a change, because that is not the purpose of this exercise. So one set of toes is just going to tap the floor, and then when you pull back up, think about a seat belt across the front of your pelvis. It's your transverse abdominis. So you inhale down, activate that muscle to help pull that leg back up, and then inhale, drop the other side, exhale, back up. So if you're going down and your back is arching up like this, don't go so far or pull your seat belt tighter. So inhale down, exhale up. Use your breath. Shh. Two more on each side. I'm getting my good workout today. This is nice. And bring your knees to chest. You usually have to walk the room and make sure everybody's doing it properly. So, all right. So I thought it would be fun to do another set of those, and you kind of evaluate how you felt with that. If you felt like that was very challenging, then I would recommend you stay with that. If you felt like you really had to focus on pulling strong and tight, but you could do a little bit more and still hold your spine in neutral, then it would look more like this. Your leg's going to go farther away from you. Exhale. So it's going to be harder to bring that longer lever up to your body without letting your back arch like this. So go ahead and choose. You might try one of these, go, oh, forget that. I'm gonna go back to just tapping my toe down. So inhale out, shh. Shh. You have 3 more sets on each side. And I'll just mix it up. My last set, I'm going back to the beginning. And you know what follows after work? Stretch. So bring your knees in, relax your upper body. Maybe you like to roll your hips around and get that little massage back there, which is always nice. All right, how are we doing on time here? What do we got left to do today? I know you can't wait, right? Let's do some leg circles. Leg circles are a lot of fun. So we'll do, the way my brain's working today. We're gonna do one leg and then we'll do some bridging in between and then we'll do the other leg. Okay, sounds good. So feet down, take your left leg up. Again, some of you might not be able to bring your leg at 90 degrees, and that's okay. You can bend your knee even if you need to, if you find that it's hard to keep that whole straight leg up there. Bend your knee. The motion's coming from the hip, so it's an actual circle of the hip. So if the leg was completely extended, the leg would come out, it would circle around and come back up. And then we go out and around again. It's not this where your whole body is moving. Your body is stabilized, so you really got to use that seat belt. It's there. Lock it in, lock and load. Leg goes out, and then exhale, bring it back around. You can open out to brace your shoulder girdle. That helps me sometimes. Inhale out, exhale here. So here's what I try to explain this with the pelvis. Is if you had a little bowl of water sitting on your pelvis, you wouldn't want it moving because you wouldn't want that water to spill on top of you. So think about that. So make that circle where it's nice and controlled. Exhale around. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale out. Exhale, circle around, and inhale out. Exhale, circle around. Bend your knee in, lengthen your other leg onto the mat, and just relax your upper body and breathe. That's all you got to do, breathe. And I'll give you one more stretch and then we'll go into our bridging. So bring your foot to the mat, let this knee open out. So this is a great place for your block. If you're very tight internally and that leg comes out and you can feel it very uncomfortable, put your block here. Let your leg rest on that. All you did, like I said, was raise your floor up to make you a little more comfortable. I love the blocks. The blocks are the best. All right, so let's go with our bridging. So bridging, think articulation of the spine, each vertebra and disc moving independently, and the core muscles supporting and making that movement. So your feet are a comfortable distance. We'll keep our arms here. This gives us a little bit of help and support. So make sure you're open across your chest. Take your breath in. As you exhale, you're going to pelvic tilt first. So let's just do a couple of those. So if you take, say this is your pubic bone, you're just going to try to tilt it up. So as I tilt it up, my low back flattens into the mat. And then you release that. So exhale, shh. Inhale, release. Exhale, flatten your back into the mat and release. So with bridging, we start with that movement and then we just articulate and lift the whole spine up off of the mat. So take your breath in. Exhale, pelvic tilt. When you feel the weight shift into your shoulders, that's probably high enough. There's no need to go all the way up here and go into your neck. So just stop where you have basically just a straight line. I know you're going to want to push a ton of weight into your feet. Try to put about half the weight into your feet and the rest into your core muscles. So take your breath in. As you exhale, you're going to roll back down, trying to hit these upper vertebrae first, on through down, on down, and then to your into your low lumbar. So we're going to do 3 more of those, so you can go at your own pace. Start with your breath in. Exhale. And again, we're only going to move on the out breath. So inhale here. Exhale, curl and roll that spine back down. 2 more sets. This actually should feel really, really nice to your back. And it's a nice way to maybe start each morning. If you got up and did this, your back would probably feel so much better throughout the day. Just little simple things like this. And as you finish that up, move around, reposition, take your right leg up and get ready for your hip circles. You could keep the straight leg, you could have a bent leg and just doing, but you're trying to refrain from this happening with all this movement. Open out here if you'd like, inhale out. Exhale, draw that circle, bring the leg back. So your circle may be very, very, very small. Some of you will be able to open out a little bit larger. But I'd say probably somewhere around maybe a basketball is a nice circle that you really can feel that connection. Let's take 4 more. You made it. Bring your knee in, straighten your opposite leg. We're getting closer to the part that everybody doesn't like. All right. So bring your foot to the mat. Let your knee open to the side. Again, feel free to use that block to let the leg rest on. Just relax. You have to take advantage of all these nice little stretches, right? All right, so I'm going to give you spinal twist to stretch out the spine and the hips, and I'm going to give you some shoulder stretches. And then we'll move into our plank and prone position exercises. All right, so take your feet out the width of your mat. So nice and wide. You can keep your arms open. As you inhale, let both knees drop to one side. Exhale, bring them back to center. Inhale over to the other side. And exhale back to center. So I usually say with this, don't restrict yourself anywhere. Just let your hips and your back move where they feel comfortable. It's just a nice way to open up the pelvis, stretch the hips a little bit, the spine. Not holding on. And take 2 more sets to each side. Use your breath. When you get to this last one, hold over there. It doesn't matter which side you're on. We'll do the stretch on the other side also. So now just notice what you're feeling. Top leg, try to push the knee down. Again, here's your block, your friend. If it's hanging up there in the air and that's not comfortable, put that block underneath there to give it a little support. So now you've gone into this nice stretch along the low spine, probably across your upper hip here, maybe a little bit through your shoulder up here. So if this is screaming at you, bend your back arm a little bit. Or again, you got another block, put your arm on that. All right, let's bring ourselves back to neutral. Let those knees fall over to the other side. It can rest on your block. Just breathe. All righty, back to neutral. So your feet are comfortable distance. We're gonna bring the arms up now. You're gonna bend and you're just gonna lightly grasp each elbow with the opposite hand. Your arms are in line with your chest and your spine is lengthened, including your neck. So now you'll inhale, bring your elbows to one side. Exhale, pull back up. Inhale, let them glide to the other side. And exhale up. Again, finding a motion that feels just right for your body. Maybe it will increase each time you go from side to side. Maybe one side feels much tighter than the other. Chances are that is the case. Now, as you go, you can take your gaze with your shoulders and get your neck to warm up a little bit here. Let's take 2 more to each side. Relax your shoulders. As you make it back to neutral here, it's another option with your block. You can take your arms overhead and let them rest on the floor. Some of you, this is not going to happen for you. So again, if this block is here, look, so much better. You're still getting your stretch, but to honor your body. So either block or no block. So just for fun, this is a big move, and if you're not up for it, don't do it. You can roll to your right side and bring yourself to seated. If you want to try this one, you're going to take your breath in and roll yourself up. I have to cheat and kick my legs out to bring myself up, but it's okay. It's all good. So now we're coming around onto hands and knees, your favorite prone exercises, which most people don't like these. Some of them are good, like cow and cat. So lift your head and your tailbone. You're just letting the front side of your body just open up and be. Your neck is long. Your back probably going to dip down a little bit, and it's actually called cow. And I guess my definition is because you look like a cow out in the pasture. I don't know. That's how I see it. Yoga, they have very simple names. So then you're going to tuck your chin, and you're going to tuck your pubic bone, and your back is going to rise up. So this one's called cat, because some of you may have a cat, and when they get up in the morning, I'm assuming this is how they stretch. So now flow through 3 sets. Your in-breath brings you to your cow, and your out-breath brings you to your cat. You have 2 more of those. And this is another way to start your day off. Get up in the morning. Your spine will love you for this. Now, as you bring yourself through into that last cat, hold the cat pose. Start to shift your hips back to child's pose so you can no longer hold it. And then let your body sink down into your child's pose. We're going to bring our hands next to our face for this child's pose. Your elbows are tucked at your sides. You want to try to get the hips low. Guess what? Block's a great thing. If you have trouble getting those hips down there, put the block, or a blanket's more comfortable, but you can use the block. Or if you can get your hips down, but you can't get your head to the floor, guess what? Here's your trusty block. Look, it has 3 heights. So some of you might even be here in your child's pose. So don't be afraid to use your block. I should just do a block 101 lesson. And then you're going to bring your arms alongside your body. Let your shoulders just round forward and just feel that release. Ugh. Love child's pose. Two more breaths. See, I have to be nice right now because next you're going to do push-ups and prone stuff. Plank. All righty. Go ahead and raise up. Come back to that all 4 to start with. You're going to take your hands and move them forward about 10 to 12 inches. And then you're going to shift your shoulders so they're right over top of your wrist. Your belly comes in because we don't want to be sagging down like this. We want to activate our belly so our spine stays in neutral and our back is protected. Your head is in neutral, so you're not looking up at me. And I don't know why hanging a head makes it so much easier, but try to stay in neutral. So this would be beginning plank. Actually, in a little bit closer would be beginning plank. So if you're here, go here. But if you're able to go a little bit more on an angle, go on an angle. If you feel really strong here and your belly's strong and tight, you can curl your toes under. You're allowed to lift your knees. But typically people, when they lift their knees, lift their hips too. Well, not supposed to do that. So supposed to stay here, knees up, knees up, knees up, knees down. So we're going to do 4 push-ups, and you don't have to go all the way down. You want to hold your strength here. You're just going to inhale, bend your elbows. You might just go here, exhale up, inhale down, exhale up. Maybe you can go a little deeper. Exhale up. One more. See how that breath helps there? So now you're going to take a breath in, and you're going to exhale and lower yourself down as slow and controlled as you can. Bring your arms forward. So my elbows are under my shoulders. My neck is lengthened. Guess what? My belly is still engaged. So it's very easy just to go, oh yeah, I can do this. But pull the belly in, and that's going to make you open the chest, lengthen the neck. Now you can get some nice back stretches here. And this is actually a stretch across the chest, but we can take our right shoulder without letting everything collapse, drop it over to the left side. Just feel that across your upper back. It just feels really, really good. And then you're going to open back out and let your left shoulder fall over towards the right side. Make sure you're breathing. And bring yourself back to neutral. Let's bring our hands under our shoulders. Bend your knees. Take a breath in. Exhale. Push yourself back up into that plank. Nice and strong, or as I said, maybe you're in your full plank here. So I'm going to give you an option. If you're in your full plank, you can lift your hips and bring yourself into an inverted V or a downward facing dog. If you're in a modified plank and you have that strength to come into down dog, feel free to do that. But a lot of you that are in this position will want to just go back to a child's pose with extended arms. So modified would be here. We'll inhale. Exhale, push back. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, push back. Or maybe you're here. Inhale into plank. Exhale into down dog. Last one. Wherever you are, come onto your hands and your knees. Take your knees to the edge of your mat. Bring your feet together. Push your hips back, and then lower your chest and your head down. This is tadpole. I won't make you do frog because frog is just not fun. You can have your gaze going in one direction. Relax your shoulders. You have one more breath. And then you're just going to take your gaze in that other direction for a few breaths. One more. All right. Let's rise back up. So I'm going to make you do just a little bit of standing, and then we'll come back down to our final little cool down and get on with it. Left foot forward. All right, so lift yourself up. So this is a little bit of core strength here because without it, you're probably going to find yourself very wobbly. So really try to lock, I call it lock and load. Hips are under shoulders, chest is open, spine is lengthened, and you should feel very comfortable here and very stable working on that. You're going to take a breath in, and you're going to exhale and rotate around to the left side. So adding that rotation is going to make you work the core muscles a little bit more. And then we're going to bring it back to neutral. And we're just going to give a little rotation around to the other side. Try not to let your whole body collapse and follow you. So stay here and just make the rotation from your waistline. And then bring yourself back to front. Come forward and bring your arms around to your low back. Extend from the crown of the head down. Just feel nice and strong here. Find your breath. And then we're just going to bring our hands down and bring that knee back and go ahead and step forward with that other leg. Lift yourself back up, finding your stability again. Lengthening up, open through here. Take a breath in and exhale. Give your rotation around to the right first. Steady flow of breath. Use your in-breath to come back to neutral and your out-breath to take you around to the left. Feel your obliques and your lats working here. Ooh, I feel it. And then we'll bring ourselves back to neutral. Hinge forward and just bring your hands to your low back. All right, so the block is everyone's favorite tool for getting up because putting your hands on the floor and being able to step forward is a task. So use your block. Don't be afraid to use that. Raise your floor up, and you're going to bring yourself to standing. So first we're just going to fold the body, lift your tailbone, let your head and your shoulders just hang nice and heavy. No restrictions. If you can keep your legs straight without locking your knees, that's great. But if you're a little tight back there, you're going to have a little bit of bend, more bend in your knees there, and that's okay. So thinking about articulation, so take your breath in. As you exhale, start to stack yourself up. So you're just kind of uncurling the body like a rag doll and rolling all the way up to standing. So arms are just out. Just open up your chest. Take a nice big breath and reach up. Exhale, you're just going to give yourself a little lateral movement over to the right. Bring that right hand behind you and just reach. Okay, so here's where you have to think again. Your knees are soft. Your hips are nice and evenly grounded. Think about your rib cage over here. So you have this bottom rib, and it's a certain space away from the top of the pelvis. We're going to try to keep that space. So we're going to exhale and lift ourselves up. Inhale over. Exhale, lift yourself up, not with your shoulder. So inhale over. This is coming together and lifting you. 2 more. Shh. Use your breath. Shh. All right, do something fun. Let's come over this way. Relax the shoulder. Just let your arm drop down and circle and bring you all the way back up. Other arm up, other arm down. Crescent moon or lateral. Soften your knees. Bring your hand behind your back. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Remember this distance here. We're going to take our breath in and then exhale. See if you can lift yourself back up using these muscles here. Inhale over. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Shh. All right, back over. Make sure your shoulder's out of it. Drop down your nice circle. That just feels really, really good. Arms behind. Open your chest. All right, I got one more thing I want to do here for our legs. So we're going to step out probably about the width of your mat if you have your mat this way. Turn your toes out so that your hips have externally rotated. Bend your knees and just drop down where you're comfortable. Find your balance. Just bring your arms out. Palms are up. Just have a nice open chest. We're just going to lift our right heel and then lower it. And then lift left and lower. Or sometimes I'll say left lift and lift to right and down and left and down. Okay, so if that's kind of challenging for you, I would say just stay with that, just alternating right and left. If you are able, lift your right heel, bend down a little bit, and then squeeze and lift, and then lower. Lift your left heel, drop down a little bit, lift, and then lower. One more on each side, so right, down, lift, lower, left, down, lift, lower. Whoo, bring your arms up, step back in. Take a nice breath up. You can sigh it out. And one more. All righty, let's go and have a seat on the mat. So sit back down. You're going to take your left leg in closest to your body and have your right leg out in front of you somewhat. The closer you can bring it in, the better, but if you have to have it out a little bit more, no worries. Just bring it where it's comfortable for you. Put your hands on your knees and lean forward. So don't lead with your head. Don't lead with your shoulders. Stay up and lifted and hinge. You're going to learn hinging and plopping are 2 different things. And yes, the body just naturally wants to plop because you have to work your muscles to hinge. But that's a good thing. And then we're just going to lift ourselves back up. You're going to rotate around to that right side, and again, you're going to hinge. Nice little stretch. Lift yourself back up, come to center one more time. And then lift back up, rotate left, and hinge. Guess what? Blocks are great here because the floor is kind of far away for you to stay up and lifted. And bring yourself back up. Take your right leg out. Sit tall. Reach down. Again, block, block, block. You may even have your block up this high, maybe this high, maybe this high. Maybe you can get to the floor, stay open, stay long, and reach up with your left fingertips. Just getting that nice full body stretch here. Not tensed. Everything's just open and stretching. One more breath. And go ahead and lift yourself up tall. Bring this right leg out in front of you, and you can sit up and then rotate to the right and bring your arms down where they go comfortably. I like to push kind of against this front leg and sit tall. Again, your block could be back here to help you to sit a little bit taller. And we're just going to bring our chins to our chest. And go ahead and lift your chin back up. Untwist yourself, coming back to front. So now we'll switch the legs out. So your right leg is in closest to you and your left leg is out in front. Move around till you feel nice and grounded. Hands on your legs and just hinge forward. Just great hip release. I don't have to tell you where you're feeling this. One side's going to feel tighter than the other. And gently lift yourself up, rotate to the left, stay tall and lifted, and hinge. And back up, one more time to center, hinge it out. Maybe you find you go a little bit farther each time you do it. And back up, rotate right, hinge. And lift up, extend your left leg out, sit tall, reaching down, hand on the block of the floor, the ankle, and bring those right fingertips up. Find your flow. Two more. Go ahead and lift yourself back up. I forget where I went from there, but oh yeah, foot out here. Sit up nice and tall. Rotate around to the left. Chin to chest. Spinal twist is the best. Two more. And let's go ahead and untwist ourselves. Last thing, we're going to roll down onto the mat again, so make sure you have room there for that. A nice way to roll, you can take the block and place it between your legs because, as I said, it's going to force you to use your transverse, so your roll down will be a little less chunky than it usually is. So take your breath in, exhale, pelvic tilt, and see if you can just release nice and smoothly down, and then you can remove your block. Let's take the legs out to the edges of the mat and take your arms out wide. Just get full length of your body here and full relaxation. So if your arms want to rotate out a little bit, let that happen. Let your legs rotate, whatever feels good. This is where I say just let your body become one with the mat. So just find a nice flow of breath. If you have that nice music on, you can just tune into that. We're just going to change our breath a little bit. So imagine you could inhale maybe 3 or 4 seconds, hold it for 3 or 4 seconds, and then a nice long 6 or 8 second out through pursed lips. So just practice that. So inhale through your nose. So your exhale is twice as long as your inhale and hold. And on that out breath, just let your body become one with the mat. Just feel it sink down. Probably start to feel your heart beat slow down a little bit. Slow your mind. And now just return your breath back to your normal, even breath. Inhale and out, and exhale through your nostrils. Start to gently wiggle your fingers. Gentle wiggle of your toes. Let's bring our feet to the mat and your arms alongside your body. Reposition yourself, move around until you find your comfort there. And now give a gentle lift of your hips and roll to your right side. And again, just find your comfort there for a few breaths. No rush, just move very mindfully, always making all your moves throughout the day with mindful thought. And on your next out breath, you can gently press yourself up to your seated position. And find your easy seated position, whatever's comfortable for you here. Let's take our nice breath up. And exhale, bring your hands into heart center. And I have a little joke for you, because I always end with my joke. I thought I was addicted to the hokey pokey, but I learned to I turned it all around. I guess that's how it goes. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.